Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Adith Emmanuel here in Mount Laurel. If you are here in person, we welcome you to take your seats. And if you're joining us through the blessing of technology, we welcome you to say Shabbat Shalom, and so you can also share with us from where you're joining us this evening. I just want to say a special thank you to the powers that be in our synagogue. This is the Shechianu moment for new microphones. So if you feel that you can hear us, and maybe even hear us or hear the people standing at this lectern a little bit better than you have in the past, we can thank those powers that be. And we have these microphones just in time for another thing we're celebrating this weekend, and that is one of our own being called to the Torah for the first time. Mazel tov to Sari Horowitz and her family. And you, Sari, will be our Shechianu moment for using these microphones for bat mitzvah, and we'll all be able to hear you tomorrow. So we're delighted that we welcome to our bima Lucas Bennett, who will be accompanying us, and we open this evening on page 650 with Yismechu Hashamayim. And when I announce pages, they will be in the brackets for those of you not familiar with our congregation. We're using this thin blue book that says a Reform Siddur Shabbat.
Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim. Tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz.
And we turn now to page 120 in the brackets as we continue with the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles. It's my pleasure to welcome to the bima Sari and family, who are going to be leading us in the lighting and blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among these who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlich ner shel Shabbat.
And And we turn now to page 123 for our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafem.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshana b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon, hinhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amin, v'shabbat kodshecha, Yahavahu ratzon, Hichatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh Hashat.
Chaim. Thank you. Please find your way through and you can go down. Thank you very much. And we turn now in our Siddur to page 138. Page 138 in the brackets with Lecha Dodi.
Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor, shamor v'zachor, b'rimor echad, ishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet, v'lirgila. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikדם nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tekila. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hit'oreri, 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 ki va'orei kumi ori, uri uri, shir daveri, kivod Adonai, alayik nigla. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise and face the entrance.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'sola, toch emunei am segula.
we take a moment while we're standing to turn to one another, perhaps not the person next to us, if we already know that person. Let us introduce ourselves to one another and greet one another Shabbat Shalom. And if you're joining us through the blessing of technology, please say Shabbat Shalom, maybe where you're joining us tonight. And we remain standing as we turn to our prayer cards. It might be blue, it might be yellow, as we continue with Baruch Hu by Noah Aronson.
Yalalai. Yalalai, lai, lai. 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 Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening?
We continue on page 266, page 266 in the brackets. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Shem kivod malchuto, leolam vaed.
We turn back to page 268.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvchol nafshecha uvchol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher Anochi misavecha hayom alevavecha Veshinatam levanecha v'tibartabam Veshivtecha bebeitecha ulechtecha b'derech Ushochbecha ufumecha Ushartam leod al yadecha V'hayu litotavot beinecha Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue responsively on page 269. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלא, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Adonai, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele.
We continue now on our prayer card with the words of Hashkivenu, that blessing in which we ask for God's protection as we lay down to sleep at night.
Give us a place to rest our head, God. Help us understand that you're right here. When we sleep throughout the night We know you're right here. We may come and go, come and go. We're not alone. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom. Ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ooh, lechaim. Let's try it. Ooh, lechaim. Try it again. Ooh, lechaim. Ooh, lechaim. You guide us when we lose our way, God. You take away our pain. Why are you here? To shield us when we close our eyes, to give us peace of mind. Adonai, Adonai, you'll always be right here. We may come and go, come and go. We're not alone. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom. Ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim.
We continue on page 272. 272, at the top of the page, Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. B'nei uvein b'nei Yisrael odi leolam. B'nei uvein b'nei Yisrael odi leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Uvayom haShish Shabbat vayinapash. Uvayom haShish Shabbat vayinapash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Shabbat.
On page 273, we continue as we're able. We rise in body and spirit for tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר, מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
May be seated. As we continue on page 281. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki otohu melech Aron lechol hashalom.
We continue our prayer now silently, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 285, or other prayers throughout the prayer book, or those meditations and thoughts in our hearts.
Shalom bimroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ose shalom imroma uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing, and so we turn in our Siddur to page 371 in the brackets in the middle of the page. If you're joining us through the blessing of technology and you're thinking of someone who is in need of healing, feel free to add the names of those people in the chat at this time. We in our extended Adith Emmanuel family are sending blessings of healing to the following people: Laura Goldberg, Marlene Kaplan, Meredith Gelman, Yona Gavriel Ben Michal Ronit, Marion Portnoy, Carrie Amariello, Ian Clark, Malcolm Fletcher, Ellen Bertuglia, Jeff Lesser, Goldie Schultz, Mindy Fisher, Kayla Chana Bat Adan Lieb, Umasa Leah, Barbara Savage, Marlene Gratchner, Sophie Gaia Siegel, Sarah Gardner, Cindy DeRicio, Harry Greenberg, Nick Baud, Deb Nielsen, Moshe Ben Elizabeth Theodore, Rosalie Middleman, Jennifer Ness, George Goldstein, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Linda Drachman, Chaim Ben David, Eileen Davison, Craig Davison, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Lisa Galda, Ed Crosby, Myra Kaplan, Jeff Schaefer, Louis Alahut, Carol Schaefer, Mary Mednitsky, Jocelyn Jackson, Jen Jones, Michael Infante, Gary Garner, Ann Marsden, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn. And for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, if you have the name or names of people whom you're thinking of to whom we can send our blessings of healing, I invite you as you're able to rise and mention those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. A healing of body, a healing of mind, a healing of spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim.
Mi sheberach avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mi sheberach imotenu, Sarah Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer,
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 hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotenu, mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer,
hear our prayer,
hear our prayer,
hear our prayer,
hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as one.
We turn now to page 377. Page 377. As we are able, we rise as we offer this prayer for the state of Israel. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim yishlau ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Together, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. May be seated. You may close your books. soon after someone meets you is it apparent that you are Jewish or part of a Jewish community? In our Torah portion this week, Miketz, we watch a transformation of our patriarch Joseph. We begin with Joseph in prison. And while in prison, through God, as Sari well knows, Joseph successfully interprets the dreams of the baker, who happens to die, and the cupbearer, who then goes back to serve Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh has these dreams, which his experts cannot interpret, the cupbearer tells Pharaoh about Joseph. Before Joseph appears before Pharaoh, he has his hair cut and he changes his clothes. Pharaoh then listens to the interpretations. Joseph reveals that there will be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. And Pharaoh needs overseers who will ration the food over these 14 years. So before Pharaoh appoints Joseph, he turns to his courtiers. And in this conversation, Pharaoh says to them, "Well, could we find another like him, a man with a divine spirit?" Now, Pharaoh is the king of Egypt. He can do whatever he likes. Why does Pharaoh feel a need to consult his courtiers and rationalize this decision? The Ramban, that's Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman of 13th century Spain, he teaches that because Joseph was a Hebrew, the members of which race were repugnant to the Egyptians, who would not eat of the same things the Hebrews touched or have any contacts with them as they considered them unclean, Pharaoh did not want to appoint Joseph viceroy without their, being the courtiers, permission. Therefore, he said to them that they would find no Egyptian comparable to him, as the Spirit of God is in him. So after the courtiers admitted it, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you," for since the interpretation met with the approval, the Pharaoh and all his courtiers, they regarded everything Joseph had said as if it had already been fulfilled. I find this commentary fascinating. It reveals a prejudice against the Hebrews back in ancient Egypt. This is long before Moses and Pharaoh in Egypt and the Hebrew slaves. Or it reveals a 13th century Spanish Jewish interpretation that there was such a bias against Hebrews back during the time of this earlier Pharaoh. But once Joseph is able to prove himself and he has the skills and the talents to tell Pharaoh what he needs to hear, then the prejudice does not apply to him. We know that Joseph has already cut his hair and has changed his clothes. However, once he becomes second in command to Pharaoh, Joseph's wardrobe will need to change even further. So Pharaoh removes his signet ring from his own hand, he puts it on Joseph's hand, and has Joseph dressed in robes of fine linen. And for the finishing touch, Pharaoh puts a gold chain around Joseph's neck. And so now Joseph blends into Egyptian society. He looks like an Egyptian, and he learns the language. So it's no wonder when his brothers come to visit later on in the Torah portion that they don't recognize their brother as Joseph. Not that same brother whom they sold to the slaves, sold him down to go into slavery in Egypt. And yet, Joseph knows that it's them. And that moment that he sees him, what does Joseph choose? To keep his identity hidden. He acts like a stranger to them, even speaking harshly to them. Why? Why doesn't Joseph reveal his identity at this very moment to his brothers? Now would be a great time in the timeline of Joseph for him to say to his brothers, "Hey, it's me, the kid brother you sold into slavery. But haha, look at me now. I told you in my dreams a long time ago that this was going to happen, that one day you would be bowing down to me." But he doesn't do that. He keeps his true self a secret from his brothers, perhaps so that Joseph could revel in witnessing his brothers endure some more hardship beyond the famine. Joseph holds back his identity in the form of revenge and as a way of playing mind games with his brothers and testing their attitudes and behaviors these many years later. Spoiler alert, for next week's Torah portion, Joseph does reveal himself to his brothers. And he does so only after seeing his brothers pass the test that he had set for them, seeing that they were going to protect their father's new favorite son, Benjamin, and that they had changed from their old ways. When Joseph sees that Judah, at least, would stick out his neck for his brother to save his brother's life. And then Joseph is overcome with emotion when he hears about the status of his own father, Jacob. He's no longer able to keep his identity a secret, and he wants to reconnect with family again. This scene of Joseph's concealing versus revealing true identity has me reflecting, especially in today's climate, on various comments I have heard from people as of late as to whether they reveal that they are Jewish or part of a Jewish family or Jewish community. As many of us are aware, the Israel-Hamas war has sparked an exponential increase in anti-Semitism around the world. And because of this, some people are choosing not to express publicly their Jewish identity in any fashion, nor their connection to a Jewish community. And I've seen this exhibited in three ways. One, in our dress, two, in our displays, and three, in our speech. First, people are thinking about what they wear in public. A person shared with me that in certain places she has chosen to tuck in her Star of David necklace under her shirt. Some Jewish students who might have ordinarily and openly worn a Hanukkah shirt to school in past years chose not to this year. Some Jews are choosing not to don a kippah publicly, or in order to fulfill their custom, they're covering up the kippah with a baseball cap. Secondly, when it comes to displaying something Jewish, such as a mezuzah on the doorpost, or a Chanukiah in the window, or a sign about the hostages or Israel on one's lawn or in one's window, several people are opting not to. In places like Stanford University, some college students are taking down their mezuzot from their dorm room doorposts, as they have witnessed other schoolmates have their mezuzot torn down as an act of vandalism. Judaism teaches us that the mitzvah meaning commandment of Hanukkah, is to display the Chanukiah, the lights of Hanukkah, in the window for others to see the light. Interestingly, Judaism also teaches us that if one feels that they are in a place of danger, they need not display the lights. You may have noticed that there's a particular Sephardic style of the Chanukiah, where many of us are used to seeing the 9-branch, with the light sticking up. There's a Sephardic style in which there's like a wall and then the flames are down here. That's a style that goes back to the Spanish Inquisition. And what the Jews during that time would do is they would put the Chanukiah in their window, but instead of displaying the flames down here, they turned it so the wall was out to the window. So they were following the mitzvah of putting the Chanukiah in the window, but for their own safety, if one were to look inward at that home in the window, it might just appear as an ordinary lamp. And so we learn that if our lives are in danger, we are more than permitted to keep our Jewishness hidden. A third area in which people are choosing to hide their Jewishness is speech. Back to the initial question of how soon after a person meets you do they know you are Jewish or part of the Jewish community. If we're not outwardly wearing or displaying symbols that are Jewish, then what we choose to say in conversation or when we speak will or could reveal our identity. When I've gone on vacation and met people casually, they ask what I do. I mean, it's something we do in conversation. Oh, what do you do? It's a way of us getting to know one another. And sometimes I answer, I'm a teacher, right? Well, if we look at the word Rav in Hebrew, rabbi means teacher. And that I answer that way because in part, rabbi means teacher, and in part, I'm on vacation. In other conversations with new people, however, it doesn't take too long before someone learns that I'm Jewish. I just feel like I can't hold back that part of my identity. But all three of these elements of revealing one's Jewish identity and connection to the Jewish community, what we wear, what we display, what we say, might vary for each person and situations. Perhaps the expression of Judaism is more subtle than obvious. One might feel comfortable openly wearing a chai or a mezuzah charm on their necklace, which are less recognizable than a Jewish star. I'm just curious, how many people here wear a Jewish star or a chai or a mezuzah or a chamsa around your neck? Okay. And I didn't ask if you have it on the outside or the inside. We can have that conversation at the Oneg Shabbat. So one might feel wearing something more subtle. Or when we display something that reflects Judaism, it might not be well known to the observer. A Jewish family, I know, during this time of year, chooses to hang exclusively blue and white lights on the outside of their house, but they choose not to display a menorah. Another example of display is the two magnets that are on my car. One says Azrui, the other says Harlem. And both say a URJ camp. The logo of Camp Harlem's Chapel on the Hill is very subtle. It's an icon, but if you look closely, there's a hidden picture of a Jewish star. And so the Harlemites in this room will note that. And I proudly display these Jewish camp magnets on my car, but unless you know who Olin Sang Ruby Union Institute and Joseph and Betty Harlem are, or that you know URJ stands for the Union of Reform Judaism, you wouldn't know that this is a Jewish car. So while some Jews are hiding their Jewish identities and others are outwardly expressing them, though with great subtlety, still other Jews are saying that especially now is the time to openly express our Jewishness and Jewish identity. Now, specifically, is not the time to hide our identities. If we do, then the haters and those who want to terrorize us win. I understand, and we can all understand, that there is a spectrum of ways to respond to revealing or hiding our Jewish identities and connection to the Jewish community, from not at all and wariness to pride and empowerment. And for any individual, this response may vary. There is no one right way. I feel blessed to be in southern New Jersey, where I have witnessed a strong Jewish community with great support. And I feel like I'm in a place where I sense many non-Jews have my back. Several weeks ago, I made a visit to someone in a rehab facility, and I walked in wearing my kippah, as I do when I go on hospital and nursing home visits. I also had on my blue ribbon, which by no means that one is Jewish. It just means a support of Israel at this time, or freeing the hostages, or however one interprets it. Now, when I checked in at the desk, the woman there was wearing a hijab, the head covering for many Muslim women. Well, I felt a little self-conscious at that moment, but I did not feel judged nor unsafe, as she pleasantly directed me to the room I needed to go to, and we exchanged smiles with one another. I've worn my Hanukkah garb all week and regularly been wearing one of my many Star of David necklaces on the outside of my shirt. This year, I put my electric Chanukiah in the window early, before Hanukkah began, simply to state my pride in being Jewish. And now that tonight Hanukkah has finished, I'm going to keep it in the window a little longer, in part to show pride in my Jewish identity, but also with the hope that the metaphorical darkness might be dispelled by this extra light. Shabbat Shalom.
In this tired world, in this broken piece, I am not afraid. I am not afraid. In the darkest hour, I will find my way on this narrow bridge. On this narrow, narrow bridge, lift me up and lift my eyes far above these falling skies. Give me hope and give me love, and I will sing your praises. Days of wonder, days of peace, times of blessing, love released. Give me hope and give me love, and I will sing your praises. In a time of change, in a time of choice, I am not afraid. I am not afraid. In the quiet night, I will find my way on this narrow bridge, on this narrow, narrow bridge. Lift me up and lift my eyes far above these falling skies. Give me hope and give me love, and I will sing your praises. Days of wonder, days of peace, times of blessing, love release. Give me hope and give me love, and I will sing your praises.
We turn now in our Siddur to page 587, 586 and 587. As we are able, we rise for Aleinu. We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are no longer with us, and so we turn in our prayer book to pages 598 and 599. As we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, and those who died at the season in years past, if you're joining us through the blessing of technology and are thinking of those who are no longer with us, feel free to write their names in the chat at this time. During this period of Shiva and Shloshim, we remember Lydia Carnesale, grandmother of Lisa Gottesman-Levin, Betty McPherson, sister of Anna Kitts, Marcia Krantz, wife of Stanley Krantz, Sally Sperber, mother of Cheryl Sperber. We also remember those who died at the season in years past, whose yahrzeits we mark on the Shabbat. Jerry Antonoff, Jean Baker, Rita DeLenge, Stuart Flam, Jeffrey Gittler, Goldie Goldis, Ruth Hall, Joyce Lessman, Harriet Mackler, Sandra Mazer, Samuel Malatsky, Robert Otterberg, Celia Rabinowitz, Aileen Richter, Jeffrey Roth, Alexander Rubin, Michael Rubenstein, Robin Rudolph, Edward Schuler, Sima Schechtman, Sandy Strumwasser, Judy Tresky Robertson, Michael Winogren, and others whose names we should add at this time. If you have a name to add, please feel free to stand as you're able and say those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. I invite those who are here observing the period of Shiva or Shloshim for their loved ones to rise at this time. Those who are in the first year of mourning to rise at this time. Those who are observing a yahrzeit to rise at this time. We all rise now as one congregation in support and comfort. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for blessing as we continue now with the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel Shemei dekusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, ta'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite our synagogue president, Doug Richter, to share with us a few hodaot.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'd like to thank Rabbi and Cantor Sandy and Lucas for leading us in this very wonderful service tonight. And also a mazel tov to the Horowitz family on Sari's bat mitzvah tomorrow. But before the bat mitzvah, we have Torah Talk and Bagels starting at 8:45, and the bat mitzvah service will begin at 10 o'clock after that. And on Sunday, Men's Club has a brunch featuring our own Rabbi Memes Foler, answering questions from our temple youth in our Ask the Rabbi Sunday brunch. And later in the week, on Thursday, we're inviting people to come to PJ Wheelahands in Mapleshade from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. 15% of the profits go back to the ECC. So that's a fundraiser for our ECC. And any other activities going on through our various committees and Kahila groups can be found in the weekly emails. Shabbat Shalom.
I'll share one hoda'ah. On December 29th, our fifth Friday of the month, we will be holding a mindfulness and meditative Shabbat, a different Friday night worship experience, and I encourage you to attend and bring along others with you. Our closing song can be found on the song card, and it is Ufaratsta. And I think some people are coming up to the bima to help lead it based on the step being moved from this side to that side. Ufaratsta on the front side of the Shabbat song sheet.
Anana,
join me in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tzei avon, and Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, I do. No. I have no song cards. How did I get no song cards? I have 12 Shechianos.
Goes back and forth, you know. Sometimes I'm like, just want to hang out. And other times I'm like, I need a break.